Hey there, Saggies. Welcome to your October 2019 general love reading. It's Keegan. If you're new here, hello. It's nice to meet you. I hope that you enjoyed the reading and will choose to subscribe and join the channel here with all the other cool people. And if you're returning, welcome back. It's good to see you again. I hope that you've been doing well. I hope you enjoy the reading as well. Saggies, I have to be honest with you guys. I sat down earlier to connect to your energy, and I fully expected to find you guys in the same place that I thought I remembered leaving you, which, if I'm remembering correctly, was a really good space of being very connected to yourself and owning that adventurous Sagittarius energy. But the energy that I'm tapping into, it's not necessarily bad. I don't want to scare anyone off before the reading even starts, but it feels very perplexed. I almost said confused. It's not confused energy. I feel that the best way to describe what I'm tapping into in terms of the overall energy for the Sagittarius group that I'm connecting with for this reading, you guys have actually had a lot of self-awareness and self-growth happen over, I would say, the past 6 months or so. That's what I'm getting energetically for this group of Sagittarians. I feel very much like there's someone who has come into your life who you pretty quickly developed a friendship with. I don't feel that this is anything romantic, just to clarify who I'm talking about here. This feels very much like a potential new friendship. And I will say this, for those of you who are female listening to this, I feel like this friend is most likely male. And for those of you who are male, I feel like this friend is likely female. I do feel like there is, and this is important because I feel what's happened is, in a way, this person feels like a soulmate connection for you. Again, not a romantic type of connection. So you're not feeling like you're in love with this person. You're not physically or sexually drawn to this person. It feels very much like a true friendship. But it feels opposite. It could be that maybe the genders aren't opposite like that. It could be that one of you just exhibits more masculine energy and one of you exhibits more feminine energy. But I do feel that sort of yin-yang matching polarities type of energy within this connection. This other person, to me, feels like they come from a very deep, very connected spiritual background. And it's something that, at least energetically, when I tapped into that other person, they feel very rooted, very connected to spirituality, spiritual concepts. They would be someone who, they might read the cards, they might, meditate, they might be someone who's a healer in some way. But it's something that, like, it's part of them. If you sat them down and you asked them to describe themselves, those would be some of the first things that they said about themselves. It's very much a part of who they are, is spirituality. And Sagittarius, for you, I feel like this person they've made a connection for you between spirituality and this sense of adventure that I find most of my Saggies have. Where they've gotten you excited about exploring things when it comes to spirituality. And as part of that process, as part of that exploration, that I feel like you've really gotten into energetically. Like it does feel like an adventure to you. It feels like you are exploring parts of yourself, exploring aspects of the world and things that you have not really paid a lot of attention to in this way. It feels like this person has really led to a spiritual awakening within you. And again, I'm saying, like, this feels very much like a soulmate type of connection. Like, this person probably showed up in your life at a time that felt like you were at your lowest. And as soon as you met this person, as soon as you made this connection with this person, you just knew that this was someone who had a purpose in your life and someone who would be around for a long time. And I think for a lot of you, that might not be something that you've felt, very often in your life, if at all. Because a couple of things have happened to me connecting into this. And so I want to spend some time talking about what I'm just getting energetically before going to the cards, because I feel like this is really important for those of you who are going to listen to this video. When this person came in and they've helped you unlock these parts of yourself, it's changed the way that you view the world. It's changed the way that you view yourself. It's led to a lot of evolution, a lot of leveling up inside of you. And as a result of that, because of how, like, for me, when I think about how a Sagittarian thinks, it's very deep thinking. It's very, like, approaching things from all angles and trying to look at all sides of something and really thinking through all of the possible pitfalls that could happen. For me, Sagittarius is, it's very much the air aspected fire sign. That's how I feel when I think about Sagittarius. Okay. So yes, there's all the passion, there's all the adventure, there's all of that stuff that goes with being a fire sign for Sagittarius, but they're also very much, they're thinkers. They like to be in their minds. They like to approach things through how they think about them, analyzing them. Okay. So as a result, Sagittarius, what's happened is that you've realized that for a lot of your past, for a large portion of your past, you've had very limited access to some of the truth. You've had limited access into some of the facts. You've had a very narrow way of looking at things and a very narrow way of judging things. And that's really, I think, pissed you off. That's where this energy got a little bit weird for me, because I think you're just looking back on your life and you're thinking, that didn't have to go that way. That didn't have to go that way. I think I just hit the microphone. I'm sorry. This thing didn't need to end the way it did. That didn't have to play out the way it did. I didn't have to walk away from this thing. Maybe this wasn't as bad as I thought it was. And it's just, you guys feel like you're on the edge of boiling over with rage. And it's not directed at anyone. It's not directed at you. It's just this really guttural, like almost like mourning, sorrow. But it's very angry. The base of it is very angry that this was something that you like weren't given. This was something that now that you have it and you're looking back and you're thinking, if I'd known this, if I'd been able to think this way before, maybe all of this stuff would be different. But the fact of the matter, Sagittarius, what I want to say to you guys before turning to the cards, because I'm really curious to see what cards come out for you guys. The things that you went through, the experiences that you had, those things happened the way they were supposed to happen. The people who came into your life, those things not going the way that you might now see that they could have, or might now wish that they had gone. Those things, honestly, made you uncomfortable. They made you start to question things. They started putting cracks in the wall that eventually came down when this new person, this new friend entered your life. And those other experiences of those people that led up to that moment of meeting this friend, had you not had those experiences, you would not have recognized the soulmate's purpose in your life. You would not have been as open to them as you were. I do feel like I said, this person came in at a time when you were really at your rock bottom and honestly didn't know if you would trust people again, if you could trust people again, if you should trust anyone again. And this person coming in and just absolutely from the beginning, from the first time you interacted with them, you felt trust in them. That person has shown up to give you this knowledge, to give you this new way of experiencing life at the time you were ready to receive it. And that's really important, because what I don't want is for you guys to be in a space where you're so focused on beating yourself up about the past that you don't realize what future has now opened up in front of you. And I firmly believe that any of those people from the past who are meant to be part of that future, whatever that was in the past, whatever happened in the past, whatever occurred, if that person is supposed to be part of your future now that you have become this version of yourself. If they are in front of you, looking backwards isn't going to get you any closer to them. Only by moving forward as the person you are now are you going to ever really be able to know who's meant to be there, who's coming in. And I do feel like there will be some people from the past who absolutely are ahead of you in the future that's unfolding in front of you. This new version of you is manifesting. I do feel like there are some people who are meant to be there, and there are other people who just aren't. But neither of those things makes that future any more or less special. That future is special because you have now gained access to it. Your thinking has now shifted so that you realize you can actually create a future, create a world that feels very different and that matches what you want to create in your life. So I understand where that anger is coming from. I get it, but it feels so intense to me when I tune into you guys that I just had to address it at the top, because ideally, if you can calm this, if you can soothe this, that's going to be better for you guys in the end. So with that said, I'm going to switch you guys over to a different camera angle really quickly. So yeah, I have 3 decks here. I'm going to start with my Rider-Waite deck just because I've really just been having really good readings with this deck over the past couple of months, and I want to stick with what's really working well. But I do have 2 decks here to clarify in case I need to. I'm just going to give this deck a couple of shuffles. I did shuffle before sitting down to record, and then I stopped because that energy from you guys was really intense, and I needed to address it before diving into the reading, honestly, because I didn't want that energy necessarily on me while I was doing the reading. I wanted it out in the open, okay? All right, so Sagittarius, I'm just going to see what wants to come out for you guys just to get us started. Once we get some cards down, guys, that lighting is going to adjust and fix itself. All right. Well, we have this 4 of Wands coming out here. Maybe it's not going to adjust. Let me see if I can fix this. Okay. So we have this 4 of Wands coming out upright. This is actually really good. This represents, a place of really feeling good. Really, again, this card to me feels light. I almost think that what I'm picking up here is where you guys were, though. I have to be honest. I'm curious what this card is that's come out sideways, because this is where I remember leaving you guys. This is where I remember last connecting into your energy, and it just feeling like being really happy and being in this space of, you know what, I can do whatever I want. I can accomplish whatever I want. And what I think this is, and what I think that energy was when you first actually made that connection, that spiritual connection that I was talking about, and you realized, oh, you know what? I'm in control of this. I'm in control. If I want to make something happen, I can absolutely make it happen. I can manifest it. I can create a situation where I'm going to get that. Right? But then I think what happened is that you guys ended up in a space where that realization that where you are right now, you are able to manifest what unfolds in front of you. It led to this moment because you guys are smart. You guys are smart. That's like, I think Saggies are one of the smartest of the signs. So what happened for you guys is that you realized, well, wait a minute. If right now, whatever's ahead of me, I have control over that. I can manifest that. I can create that. Where my energy is, my thoughts, that's what's going to make that unfold. You realize, okay, well, that means everything behind me, all of this crap behind me, all that pain, all that suffering, all that the failures and the things that didn't work out the way that I wanted them to, I was doing that too. And I think that's where the energy started to get a little bit messed up. So let's see what this card is that came out on its side. So you have the 3 of Wands on its side. So you literally, from the 4 of Wands, dropped down to the 3 of Wands. And I feel like coming out on its side, I just feel like it's it's a confused energy. It's, on one hand, you guys are realizing that the world's going to be totally different for you. The world's going to feel completely different. You just have this, you're in this energetic space of this awakening that feels really amazing. But you're also, in a way, that energy is stifled, or it's not able to flow as freely as it could, because you're also realizing that you've kept life a little bit chaotic. You've kept life a little bit painful up to this point. And that's perfectly normal. This is part of spiritual evolution or ascension, like whatever it is you want to refer to it as. Okay, this is part of it, of realizing that we very often stand in our own way. We very often block our own happiness. We put limits on ourselves that don't necessarily need to exist. And so this is perfectly normal. This moment of height, this having this foundation that feels really solid, and then having it drop a little bit because you're realizing your role, and it naturally just knocks that vibrational space that you've managed to get to, it knocks it back a little bit, because we have to process it. We have to feel it. So I just want to see, Sagittarius, how you're doing right now in terms of processing this. You have the 10 of coins coming out again sideways. And another card, which, okay, this is, I really want to move this card, and I'm not going to, because I feel like that's me just wanting to help you guys out. I want to turn this card this way. That's funny. I can tell like half of you guys are like turn it, and half of you guys are like leave it. So I'm going to leave it here for a second. Okay. But I'm going to just see. Okay. So if I turned it the way that I wanted to, you would have the 3 of Cups upright. I don't think you guys are here right now. So I am actually going to leave it on its side, because there are a couple of things here that I think this represents. I think these cards are your current distractions. The 10 of Pentacles here coming out on its side, I think you're kind of going back and forth between this energy. Okay, this energy here is at the base of all of this. I just have to say that. So this energy that I was talking about realizing, oh, you know what, the past that was me creating that too. All of that stuff, I created that. I wanted to have that experience because I felt that I wasn't worthy, that I felt that I wasn't lovable. I believed X, Y, and Z. And because I believed those things about myself, I had ideas about what sort of things needed to happen to me, what I needed to experience, what I could and could not experience, how happy I could be, where the limit was in terms of my happiness, right? So as a result of that, I think you guys are going back and forth right now. This feels pretty present between trying to really work hard and save up and just going out and spending a ton of money, buying new clothes, going out for really expensive dinners, then getting really stressed that you don't have the money saved that you want, getting focused back into saving, and just sort of repeating that cycle. This energy matches that, because I feel like there are times when you are just by yourself and you're not really connected to people. You're not really connected to those friendships. You're focusing on work. You're working super hard. And then it just flips and you're totally focused on friends and going out and being wild and spending money. And then it just feels like this cycle, okay, energetically. I want to see if anything wants to come out just around that. Would love to try to get something to come out not sideways. I had a flipper. Go back and get that in just a moment. Where are you? Okay. All right. We have the 4 of coins, and it's come out upright. And so I think ultimately, it's clarifying to this. I think that ultimately you are either going to, or you have currently made a decision here that you really have to focus on saving money. You really have to focus on ensuring that you have financial security, being more in control of your spending. That's good. I feel like that's getting you more connected to this, like the solid foundation. So again, this makes sense energetically that this is a little bit, this is heavy. And so as a result, it's trying to manage the responsibility of all of it, trying to plan for your future, but getting pulled back into the past, having that past be triggering, wanting to just have fun, wanting to go into that sort of, no, I don't want to deal with this stuff. I want to just have fun, which again, that's very Sagittarian energy, right? You guys like life when it's happy. But I think that you've also realized that, hey, you know what? It does, going through this, dealing with this stuff, confronting these things, having some conversations that I know I need to have. Yeah, those things aren't necessarily fun, but doing those things, that's what's going to let me get back into that energy that felt really awesome and amazing and empowering. That's what's going to help me get into that. Okay. So let's see what else wants to come out for you guys. I'm not doing a very structured reading. I just want to let the cards communicate what they want to communicate. Okay. Have Strength coming out reversed here. Again, this feels very much like that energy I was talking about, where there's just a lot of doubt, and I think you guys are really being triggered in terms of your pride. Yeah, in terms of your pride, and your ego's getting in the way, Sagittarius. And just want to see what else wants to come out around this. Okay, two more cards here. Let's see what they are. Yeah, okay. So Saggy, let's talk about this. I feel like clearly here you have the Ten of Swords coming out upright with the Five of Coins also coming out upright. There was something, there was a connection, multiple connections, something that really was important to you, but that thing came to an end. It came to an end. And it left you really feeling abandoned, really hurt. It left you feeling like what I was saying at the top, where like you just didn't think you would be able to trust anyone. You didn't think that you would be able to really form connections with people because you were so hurt and you were so emotionally burdened and things felt so heavy. And it left you in a place where you just had a lot of doubt. You really were unable to get out of your mind. There was so much emotion, so much, like all of that emotion was very raw and it was intense. And anytime you would think about trying to sort through things and deal with them, it hurt too much. It felt too intense. And so you would just, cut it off. But this is what's interesting here. So you have the Six of Wands coming out here. And this is, this card it represents Jupiter. Jupiter is associated with this card because this card is just really about success and things moving forward, really making progress, having something go in your favor. And it also really speaks to developing confidence in yourself and really feeling self-assured. So this is just telling the story that even though you were dealing with this pain and you felt this way, and I think that this Strength card here, it feels present to me. This feels like present energy. Okay. So this is where I feel you are right now, is having that doubt and not really being able to sort of deal with your own your own feelings of weakness. That's what this feels like. It's connected to this because what happens, I think, for you, Saggy, when you get into this mindset of thinking back about, well, that means all of that stuff I experienced in the past, I was pulling that type of energy towards me. I was pulling those types of people towards me. And it comes into a space of being very blaming. Like you're blaming yourself for the past. But that's not how it works. Ultimately, the entire time you have been on this planet, the entire time you've been the person that you have been striving to be the best version of yourself, to be the best, most developed version of who you are that you can be. That's really been what you've been doing. And so the people who you pulled in, they were people who showed up to keep pushing you to want better for yourself. So it isn't that you deliberately brought bad situations or bad experiences or bad people into your life because that's just what you wanted to do. You were pushing yourself. It's almost like when you go to the gym and you work out and you really rip those muscles apart so that they can rebuild themselves stronger, right? It's like when a bone is broken, it grows back stronger after that break. That's really what you've been doing the whole time. And it's led you to this space where now you can see all of that. Now you can understand all of that. And this is where ultimately you want to be, right? Like if I could have you guys fully in this 4 of Wands, 6 of Wands vibe, life would be awesome. Everything would be really great for you guys. But there's some stuff that you just have to deal with. There are some things that you need to feel. There are some, like I said, there's some conversations that you need to have. And I do feel that for a lot of you guys, the other thing that's happening that I think keeps pulling you back is you keep thinking back to these situations where someone walked away or you walked away or things, you had these really painful endings. I feel like for some of you listening, there's a long list of these really intense, painful endings. There's a long list of situations where either you felt left out in the cold or you made a choice to walk away from someone. And you're just questioning all of those right now because it's exactly what I was saying at the very beginning for you guys, where you're wondering, well, could that have been different? Did I judge that person too harshly? Did I trust that person when I shouldn't have? Did I choose that person over the wrong person? Did I choose like the right person in that situation? And that doesn't matter, right? So it's like, if you look at this card, this person's moving away from all of that, right? They're moving forward. They're moving towards good things. They're moving into victory. And this is where you ultimately have to end up. You have to let go of the questions about the past and did things happen the way that they were meant to, and could you have done something better? Because the past is the past, right? Like you can't go back and change it. And the past is what's led you to this point. So you wouldn't want to go back and necessarily change the past. You got here, how you got here. What matters is that you're here. What matters is that you've managed to get yourself to this point. So I'm going to switch decks here. This is the Everyday Witch Tarot. I'm going to give it a cut or two here. Do one more shuffle. So here's what I want to do. I'm going to move these cards up here. I feel like those 3 cards are definitely connected to each other. I'm going to take the 6 of Wands. I'm just going to start clarifying that 6 of Wands. Clarify the 6 of Wands. Sagittarius. Clarify the 6 of Wands for Sagittarius. Okay, well, this feels like it's very much wanting to be here. Let's take a look here. So you have the Knight of Cups coming out reversed. Yeah, okay, so Saggies, this Knight of Cups, when it's reversed, this is about really letting your imagination run away with you. It's this Knight, when it's upright, is a type of energy that's very like imagination in a good way, being really open, being really receptive, believing that things are possible. When it's reversed, it's that imagination run wild and just being way too much, making up things that aren't even real, creating a place where you're more in fantasy than you are in reality. It also can speak to just being unrealistic in some way, or being really moody, jealousy, controlling, that type of energy. What I get from this is that it's tough for you guys to let go of that pain of the past. And especially around what feels like a betrayal. This card, if you notice when it came out, it went right on top of this card. So I do feel like this is connected to this energy. And, this feels like something was taken from you, is how you view it. And it's connected to not understanding yourself and not understanding other people the way that you do now. You feel like something was taken from you, and you're not okay with it. And it's your mind is just getting really stuck in playing out scenarios about this, worrying about this, thinking about all of these make-believe scenarios that did not happen. It's not the way that things happen. Things happen the way that they happened. You can't change how it happened. What you do have control over, though, is how you move forward around this, how you decide to deal with this, what decisions you make about this now. Okay? But right now, again, this is just feeling like what's blocking you from moving forward, basically, if you look at the card, the thing that's in your path here is getting out of your mind about this, really getting out of your own way, letting yourself move through it. Okay? So, I just want to see what else wants to come out from this deck. Any additional insight, information, clarity, confirmation, messages for Sagittarius. Big stack of cards. I'll see how many it feels like. The cards are just, that was weird. All the cards were just stuck together. That felt so weird. Let's see what the cards are. Okay, we have the Devil coming out upright. It's landed over here. I feel like that's the right place for it. We have the Three of Cups. It's come out... you have the Three of Cups here as well. You have the Three of Cups. It's come out reversed this time. With the Seven of Pentacles. The Ten of Swords. Again, you guys. You have the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords. And you have the King of Pentacles. So, lots of cards coming out just as confirmation cards. Again, this Three of Cups here, this feels like, honestly to me, it's two things. It's exactly what I've already talked about. It's this swinging back and forth between wanting to be alone, wanting to just be by yourself, and then just going really hardcore. And what I mean by that is it could be that you're going out and you're drinking a lot, you're doing drugs, or you're just, having lots of sex. And then you go from that and you swing back into just wanting to be alone and disconnecting from everyone. It could also be that you just really overspend. It's risky sort of energy. It's like it's not just having fun. It's being like over the top with it. Okay. The Ten of Swords here, it's just confirmation, right? Like your mind gets stuck here. Okay. And you're trying to distract yourself through this type of behavior. I want to talk about the Devil, but first I just want to talk about this Seven of Pentacles coming out reversed, because this feels like, again, the questioning that you guys are doing. It feels like this is something that would reside here as another type of block in getting you through this. Because what this feels like to me is questioning on your part about whether or not something has the capability of being something that can go long term, or whether it is something that doesn't really have a lot of potential to be successful. And it's almost like you can't make up your mind about that because you've created a situation, Sagittarius, where you don't really trust yourself, because you're looking back at some of the stuff from the past and you're trying to take ownership of creating these bad things, creating these bad situations. I think that this King of Pentacles here reversed, I think that's how you feel about yourself right now, honestly. It's this feeling of like, I can't trust myself to build a solid foundation, to really build something. I can't trust myself to make this because I know in the past I created a situation where I wasn't allowing myself to be happy. I wasn't allowing, myself to really see when people cared, and to also see the people that didn't care and the people who were just taking advantage of me. And now that I know I'm the person driving this car, I'm the person creating this reality, I'm the person in control of my own life, I just see how little control I exerted over it in the past. That's what this Devil card is about. I don't, Saggies, feel that this is a bad thing. I think this is actually exactly where you guys need to go, because this is asking you to really deal with areas regarding your shadow. So shadow work would be something that would be really amazing for you right now. This is asking you to look at areas where you have unhealthy attachments. That could be codependency. It could be not being able to attach easily. It could be abandonment issues. This is anything where we put restrictions upon ourselves and we limit what we think we can and can't have, how we should and shouldn't be. It's where we're judging ourselves very harshly. That's what this energy is about. It can also represent any type of issues around sex or sexuality that you need to heal or you need to accept about yourself. So for those of you still listening to me, working on this Devil energy is actually what will propel this through all of this. This is actually the vibe and the energy that will let you break through it. But you have to be willing to embrace that energy and deal with that darkness. You have to be able to confront those things and really feel them in order to break through this. But again, I think that you can. I mean, I think that because you have this knowledge that you are the person who's in control, right? So because of that, I actually just heard to switch decks again. So I'm going to shuffle this deck while I talk to you guys for a little bit. So Sagittarius, I actually want to just talk about this card for a moment. I'm going to put it up here so you guys can see it. Hopefully you can see it pretty clearly. But if you look, this Devil, in one hand, he's holding the money bag. In the other, he's holding like an ice cream. And I think that's exactly what I was talking about for you guys earlier, right? Like, you're going back and forth. Remember right at the top when I was talking about this Three of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, that I felt like you guys were going back and forth between, I need to save, I want to spend and have fun, I need to save. What's behind that behavior, what's behind that energy is all of that darkness that you don't want to really confront, you don't want to deal with. Okay, so I just wanted to point that out because, again, that card came out over here when I was shuffling. It actually came over to the side. But I do feel like that channeling into that and dealing with those things, confronting those things is what's going to ultimately help you move through all of these blocks that are in front of you. But again, because you do have the Six of Wands here and it came out upright, I feel like you're going to be able to do it. You're going to be able to break through this and really move yourself out of some of that pain that still has you shackled a little bit to the past and unable to move forward into the future. So I'm just going to give these cards a cut really quickly. I want to actually try to clarify the Devil a little bit and see if we can get any more insight into that. Clarify the Devil for Sagittarius. Insight, information, clarity, and confirmation. And flip. We'll look through one more time and see if we can get anything about the Devil. If not, I'll just see what else wants to come out. But clarify the Devil for Sagittarius. Any additional information, insight, guidance regarding the Devil for Sagittarius. Okay. Guys, this is funny. I'm just going to make sure nothing flipped. Okay, well, let's talk about this. So you have the Knight of Swords. It is coming out reversed. And I just feel like right now, Saggies, like I've been saying, you guys are not wanting to focus on this. And I think it's because it's like, it was just heavy. It hurt a lot. And that pain from the past, when you thought you had this moment of, oh, I feel so great. I feel so amazing. I understand how things work. The thought that you had was that it was going to let you just be freed from this pain, freed from this feeling of betrayal. and you would just move on very quickly. But what really happened is that it connected you to this pain and these feelings on a much deeper spiritual level than I think you had experienced before. And because of that, you're not quite ready to pick this up and deal with it. But the Four of Wands came out again. Four of Wands. So again, you have the Six of Wands. This is really good fortune. You have the Four of Wands coming out twice. I'm just going to put that there. I don't feel like you're going to avoid this for forever, but right now you're just not ready to do it. You're not ready to break through this. Okay? That's fine. Don't push yourself faster than you can actually go. Dealing with the not wanting to deal with it, that's part of it. That's step one, right? The avoidance of it is actually the first step. And then eventually you just won't be able to avoid it anymore. You'll start to feel that, you will start to get restless because you know, Sagittarians, they don't want to ever feel stuck. They don't ever want to feel trapped or limited. And so even that avoidance, you will eventually realize that you can't avoid it for forever because that doesn't feel good. That feels like it's something that's constantly sort of has you on a leash. Okay. What other information, insight do you want to give to Sagittarius with this reading? A bunch of cards come out here. So you have the Lovers coming out reversed, with the Seven of Cups reversed, the Four of Swords reversed. You have the Two of Wands upright. You have a card coming out on its side, which is the Page of Swords. So let's take a look at these cards. I'm going to start here at the top. This Page of Swords for me represents you debating, communicating with someone. This would be... I think it's two things here. I think number one, it is you're debating whether or not you want to do it, whether or not you want to reach out. I don't think that you've necessarily decided that because you have this Two of Wands here. Even though this did come out upright, what this feels like to me is that you're still trying to make the decision. You're still trying to plan through and think about it, about this communication. You have the Lovers reversed here. So again, I feel like this is just the progression of this. Okay. So you're weighing the pros and cons about whether or not you want to communicate. The additional thing about this card that I'm feeling very much is that you're just aware that, Saggy, it feels like you know that when you try to reach out to this person and how you're going to want to explain things, how you're going to want to explain yourself, because again, you are different. You've changed. But you're aware that you don't think this person is necessarily going to trust you. You don't think that this person is going to really buy into what you're saying. You have the Seven of Cups here. It's reversed. And I think that what's happened for you here is that you've tried to think about all the different ways to approach this, all the different things that you can say, and nothing is really feeling like it's right. Nothing is really feeling like it's how you want to say it. But here's the thing, Sagittarius. You can't have a conversation with yourself in your mind. The truth of the matter is, until you do approach this person, until you do reach out, until you do communicate in some way, you aren't going to know what they might say. And the truth of the situation is that it's time to stop going through all this mentally. It's time to actually take action. Again, dealing with this devil energy, embracing the Six of Wands energy, stopping what's led you to a place of just really being exhausted and burned out and sort of stuck, not able to take any action yet around this. If you reach out to the person and they respond in anger, then you have to figure out how do you respond to their anger. If you reach out to the person and they're willing to talk, then you have to figure out, okay, well, how are we going to talk? Are we going to meet face to face? Are we going to try to talk on the phone? Are we going to have emails? Are we going to but you can't make any of those choices until you actually take action, right? So you have to make a move, and then that person gets to respond to you. And however they respond to you, you get to respond back. And that is how this energy starts to get worked through, right? That's how this energy starts to actually be worked out and dealt with. And yeah, it might be scary, and you're going to have to talk about a lot of painful things, right? You have, the 10 of Swords here twice with this Lovers reversed, right? Like that's a lot of pain. That's a whole lot of pain. It's a lot to talk about. But until you actually start talking about it, that pain is it's on pause. And when pain is on pause, it doesn't mean you don't feel it. It means you're constantly feeling it. You're not letting it dissipate. You're not letting it go. You're not clearing it. Okay. So Saggies, I think that's really as far as we're going to be able to go right now with the cards, because there's a lot of action that you guys have to take. There's a lot of shifting of energy that you need to do. There's a lot of progress that has to be made before any of this really starts to play out. You had several cards that came out on their sides at the beginning. This communication also came out on its side. So there's just lots of things that are blocked right now that you're not yet moving into. But again, you're going to move through them. You're going to have success, right? So I feel really good about that. It's just a matter of when you feel ready, of when you feel comfortable. So I do have my Oracle deck. I'm going to pull an Oracle card for you guys. I'm just going to shuffle through and see what wants to come out. 2 flip there. I'm going to go through. If you guys get more than 2, that's fine. Just those 2. So let's see what we have here. It's interesting that these cards match so well. The cards in this deck, they're not all purple. I just want to point that out to you guys. So this first card here says, attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. So again, attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. And then the next card, through prayer and meditation, I create a ripple effect of peace in the world. Okay, Saggies, I feel like these 2 cards are really, I don't want to just blow through these. Okay, so this is where I think you guys find yourselves, realizing that through prayer and meditation, through focusing on your own energy, between managing your thoughts, really dealing with how you talk to yourself about yourself, really having a lot of spiritual growth and development, you realize that you do create a ripple effect. Not only of peace, but you create a ripple effect of your own reality of and experience of this world through how you perceive it, through how your thoughts and your emotions are around it. Okay, so I feel like this is very much where you find yourself. This is what this 4 of Wands, that's where most of that energy feels for me. But this is as important, okay? Attack, pain, fear, judgment, and any form of separation are merely calls for help. That's what I was saying to you guys earlier. Don't look at the past and the people, the situations, the painful endings, the pain, the sadness. Don't look at all that. Don't look at people who you're currently separated from, people who walked away from you, people that you lost, whatever those situations are. Don't look at them as failures. Don't look at them as mistakes. Don't look at them as things that you're terrified you might repeat. Realize that in those moments when those things happened, they were calls for help, both from you and from that other person. They were attempts for us to have experiences, to have feelings, to have knowledge that was shared with us that helped us to grow and evolve, that helped us to take the next step forward. Okay? So, Saggies, just keep that in mind, because I feel like that's in a way the missing piece for you, is realizing that a lot of that pain, a lot of the things from the past that you are kind of wanting to avoid right now and not think about, not deal with, realizing that those things were blessings. Those things helped push you forward. Those things made you who you are today. Those are the things that are now in your knowledge, that are in your experience, so that you won't repeat them, so that you will know not to repeat those same mistakes. Okay? And just know that all of that stuff at its core, from the perspective of the universe, it was just a call for help. It was a call to help with your own ascension, your own development. Okay? So, I'm going to switch you guys back over here. Saggies, that was intense, but not bad. I do not feel anything bad for you guys. I don't feel anything really blocking you other than you not quite being ready to deal with what you know you need to deal with. And again, like I said, that's fine. As long as you don't linger there for too long, as long as you don't get to the point where you're just actively avoiding it and pushing it away, which I don't think that you guys could do, because I think it's going to get boring for you not making progress on this, because I do think that you got a taste of what life could be like, of having a really light, relaxed type of energy to you, and realizing, hey, as long as I'm happy, as long as I keep myself happy, as long as I try to make other people happy, as long as I'm willing to love and accept love, as long as I'm in that space, my life is going to be amazing. My life is going to be really great. It's when I start to get scared of being loved, or I get scared of loving somebody, or when I get in my own way and I start creating these situations in my mind that aren't necessarily real, that's when things start to go wrong. All I have to do is keep myself happy, focus on being happy, focus on love, focus on light, right? Like, you got a taste of that. But then there's stuff that you have to free. There are cords that you have to cut, and there are things you have to detach from yourself because they're too heavy for you to move forward with them and still feel light. Okay? So once you are willing to confront those things, you're going to be able to do them. You're going to have success. The cards said that 100%. In terms of that decision about whether or not you need to reach out, it's like I said, until you reach out, until you make that move, you don't know what the other person's going to do. And for some of you, I feel like that might be one person in particular that you're thinking about. But for others of you, there are multiple people. You know, you might have an ex, you might have a former friend, you might have a sibling, right? And with each of those, you're questioning, how are they going to respond if I reach out? What should I say? How do I even approach this? You just have to, if you miss the person, tell them you miss them. If you want to talk to the person, reach out and say, I would like to talk. If you feel you need to apologize, reach out and say, I'm sorry. I don't even know how to apologize other than saying, I'm sorry. Whatever it is that you're feeling inside, just do that. It's not hard. It's not complicated. It's not tricky. If you're moved to behave in a way, do that, because you are coming from a completely different energy than what you had in the past. And the people who are supposed to be there for you, and the people whose lives you're supposed to be a part of and you're supposed to be in, because that is part of the divine plan and it aligns with what you're moving towards, Sagittarius, those people they will feel that you're coming from a different place energetically. They will be receptive to that. Okay? Saggies, I love you so much. I hope that if you're still listening to me, you're walking away from this reading feeling hopeful and not feeling really frantic or really overwhelmed. Let me know in the comments what you guys thought about the reading. I love hearing from you guys and knowing what's going on with you and being able to see you work through things from one video to the next. That is part of the reason why I do this, because I really do want to help people. And hearing from you guys that I'm doing that just keeps me motivated and makes me feel like I'm doing some good in the world, maybe balancing my own karma in a way. So absolutely let me know in the comments what you guys think. I will see you guys for the next video. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, please take a minute to subscribe. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. I love you guys. I'll see you soon.